My name is Rachel Peterson. I'm 40 years old, and I'm about to tell you the story of how my parents gave me away for adoption, what I went through because of it, and what happened when I finally found the proof. I was 5 years old when my parents gave me away. I remember the day perfectly. It was a cold winter morning. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. It was beautiful. It was peaceful. It was the day my life changed forever. My mother was crying. My father was serious. They were both looking at me with sad eyes. They were both looking at me like they were about to break my heart. Rachel, my mother said, we need to talk to you about something important. Something we've been meaning to tell you for a long time. Something we've been dreading. I said, what is it, Mom? She said, Rachel, we can't take care of you anymore. We're giving you to a family who can. They'll give you a better life. They'll give you everything. They'll give you all the things we can't give you. I was shocked. I was hurt. I was confused. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I couldn't believe my own parents were giving me away. I couldn't believe they didn't want me. I said, Mom, I don't want to leave. I want to stay with you. I want to be with you. I want to be your daughter. I want to be part of our family. My mother said, Rachel, I know you want to stay. I know you love us. But we can't take care of you anymore. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. We don't have the ability. We can't give you what you need. We can't give you the life you deserve. My father said, Rachel, this is for the best. You'll be happier with them. You'll have a better life. You'll have more opportunities. You'll have more love. You'll have everything. I was given away. I was adopted by another family. I grew up with them. I loved them. I trusted them. I thought they were my real family. I thought they would always be my family. I was adopted by a family named the Petersons. They were kind. They were loving. They were everything I could have ever wanted in a family. They gave me a good life. They gave me love. They gave me support. They gave me everything. They gave me everything my real parents couldn't give me. I grew up with them. I went to school. I made friends. I had a good life. I was happy. I was successful. I had everything. But I always wondered. I always wondered about my real parents. I always wondered why they gave me away. I always wondered if they ever loved me. I always wondered if they ever thought about me. I asked my adoptive parents. I said, Mom, Dad, why did my real parents give me away? Why didn't they want me? Why did they give me up? My adoptive mother said, Rachel, I don't know. I don't know why they gave you away. But I know they loved you. I know they wanted the best for you. I know they wanted you to have a better life. I know they wanted you to be happy. But I still wondered. I still questioned. I still wanted to know the truth. When I was 18, I started to search for my real parents. I wanted to know who they were. I wanted to know why they gave me away. I wanted to know if they ever loved me. I looked everywhere. I asked everyone. I went to adoption agencies. I went to hospitals. I went everywhere. I found nothing. But I didn't give up. I kept searching. I kept hoping. I kept believing. When I was 40, I found them. I found my real parents. They were living in a small town. They were old. They were tired. They were poor. I went to see them. I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if they would want to see me. I didn't know if they would remember me. I knocked on the door. My mother opened it. She looked at me. She started to cry. She said, Rachel, is that you? I never thought I would see you again. I never thought I would have the chance to see you again. I never thought I would hold you again. I said, Mom, I've been looking for you for so long. I've been searching for you for so long. I've been hoping to find you for so long. We hugged. We cried. We sat down. We talked for hours. She told me everything. She said, Rachel, I never wanted to give you away. I loved you more than anything in the world. But we had no choice. Your grandparents forced us. They threatened to disown us. They threatened to take everything from us. We had no choice. We had to give you away. My grandparents were rich. They were powerful. They were controlling. They were everything my parents weren't. They didn't approve of my parents. They didn't approve of their marriage. They didn't approve of their life. They wanted them to be different. They wanted them to be better. When my mother got pregnant with me, my grandparents were furious. They said, "You're going to ruin your life. You're going to ruin everything. You're going to destroy this family." They gave my parents an ultimatum. They said, "You can either give the baby up for adoption, or we'll disown you. We'll take everything from you. We'll leave you with nothing. You'll be nothing." My parents had no choice. They gave me away. They gave me up for adoption. They sacrificed everything for me. They sacrificed their own happiness for me. I was 40 years old when I met Mrs. Henderson. She was a social worker who had been involved in my adoption. She was 75 years old. She was retired. She had been a social worker for 45 years. She said, "Rachel, I know you. I remember you. I remember your parents. I remember everything. I remember the day you were given away." I said, "Mrs. Henderson, I need to ask you something. Why did my parents give me away? Why did they give me up? Why did they let me go?" She said, "Rachel, I've been waiting for you to ask that question. I've been waiting for 35 years. I've been waiting for you to come and find the truth." She reached into her drawer. She pulled out a file. It was thick. It was full of papers. It was full of everything. It was full of the truth. She said, "Rachel, I have a file on your grandparents. I have a file on everything they did. I've been keeping it for 35 years. I wanted someone to know the truth." I opened the file. I started reading. I couldn't stop. The first page was a summary, a single sheet of paper that listed everything. Everything my grandparents had done. Everything they had taken. Everything they had destroyed. Summary of parental coercion and forced adoption involving Rachel Peterson. I read the words. My heart stopped. Coercion. Mr. and Mrs. Peterson were forced to give their daughter up for adoption. Rachel's grandparents threatened to disown them. They threatened to take everything from them. They had no choice. Emotional abuse. Rachel's grandparents emotionally abused her parents. They made them feel worthless. They made them feel like they had no choice. They destroyed their lives. Financial control. Rachel's grandparents used their financial control to force the adoption. They threatened to cut off all support. They threatened to leave them with nothing. Manipulation. Rachel's grandparents manipulated everyone. They made everyone believe the adoption was for the best. They made everyone believe it was what Rachel's parents wanted. They lied to everyone. I read the entire file. I cried. I couldn't stop crying. I realized everything. My parents never wanted to give me away. They were forced to. My grandparents threatened them. They threatened to destroy them. They had no choice. They had to give me away. I went to my grandparents' house. I had the file in my hand. I had the proof. I had the truth. My grandmother was in the living room. She was sitting in her chair. She was old. She was tired. She was alone. She said, "Rachel, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you in years. Why are you here?" I said, "Grandma, we need to talk." I placed the file on the table. I said, "Grandma, do you know what this is?" She looked at it. She said, "What is this?" I said, "This is a file from Mrs. Henderson. It's a file on you. It's a file on everything you did to me. It's a file on all your lies. It's the truth." I started reading from the file. I read about the coercion. I read about the threats. I read about the lies. I read about everything. I read about the truth. My grandmother's face turned pale. She said, "Rachel, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're trying to do to me." I said, "Grandma, I have proof. I have evidence. I have everything. You threatened my parents. You forced them to give me away. You destroyed their lives. You destroyed my life. If you've ever been given away by someone you loved, I want you to hear something. You didn't deserve what happened to you. You didn't deserve to be used. You didn't deserve to be manipulated. You didn't deserve to be taken advantage of. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know who you really are. You deserve to be loved. My name is Rachel Peterson. I'm 40 years old. My parents were forced to give me away. And I finally know the truth. If this story made you feel something, drop a comment below. Tell me the word that describes what you feel. Share this video with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you for listening to mine.